Everybody, welcome to the show. The Supreme Court is slamming the door on, listen to this, everybody, 29 states who accept mail-in ballots days after Election Day. The Supreme Court is on the verge of striking down several dozens of state laws that allow mail-in ballots after Election Day because we've got some bombshell news, everybody. I told you, I'm telling you, keeping the faith, keeping the hope, it is all coming to fruition. I love it that we are about to tell you one of the biggest bombshell news on this channel, and it's all real. All those conspiracy theories about mail-in ballots and voter fraud and Biden getting 81 million votes, all fake, and it's hilarious what the Democrats have just tried to do with this breaking news that I'm about to tell you. Grab some popcorn, put it in the chat, guys, and we are about to hear some amazing news. So the Supreme Court got this breaking news that a new report by MIT shows that 23 million Democrat mail-in voters from 2020 have vanished from the 2024 election rolls. 23 million Democrat mail-in ballots that were voted for in 2020 for Biden have now completely vanished and did not vote for Kamala Harris to be president in 2024. What happened? I'm telling you what happened. It was fake, stolen, rigged. Put it in the chat, guys, because I'm ready to see it. Hashtag 2020 stolen. That's exactly what we have. All this evidence now. The MIT new report, again, I cannot, this is some of the biggest breaking news. The Supreme Court has it. Everybody on the Democratic side is losing it with what I'm about to tell you. But this new report shows that there were 23 million Democratic mail-in ballots that were put forth to Biden in 2020 that vanished in 2024. These voters, what happened to them? Where were they at? How come they didn't do a mail-in ballot vote again? We can't even find them. They vanished, and now everybody is losing it. The Democrats last night, for some reason or another, because this report came out this morning, but I bet you they knew about it last night, tried to get the Republicans last night to recertify the 2020 election that Biden won. Listen to me here, guys. You can't make this stuff up, how insane the news is. Last night, the Democrats tried to get the Republicans to recertify the 2020 election that Biden got 81 million votes. Then we get this report this morning that the Supreme Court has, that came from MIT, that 23 million Democratic mail-in voters vanished from 2020 to 2024. Buddy, we're coming in, guys. We're bringing in the truth. We're exposing them all. I'm going to show you all the receipts, but I'm telling you, this is why we do this channel, because you would never have known this. It may not even make mainstream, but guess what? The Supreme Court has it. The Democrats knew, and what I'm going to show you today is going to blow your minds because they are losing it. Do not fret, guys. Do not think that the MAGA base is going away. Do not think that we are going to lose the midterms. The momentum is behind us. All the numbers are pointing towards Trump and his leadership doing what is best for America and winning. Senator Chris Murphy, I have the clip for you to show you. Senator Chris Murphy last night said the quiet part out loud, and I quote, "The people we care about most, the undocumented migrants." You're going to see that clip in a moment. 65% of Republicans identify now as MAGA. That is a growing trend right now over the past 4 years, that it has been getting higher and higher. More Republicans are identifying as MAGA. 65% of all the people that were polled. It's an upward trajectory. People want to do what Trump is. People want to support what Trump is doing. We also got the Senate confirmed our new Department of Homeland Security, Mark Wayne Mullen, will be the new Secretary for Department of Homeland of DHS at the end of this month, taking over Kristi Noem's spot. And then, guess what, guys? Senator Mike Lee, today, I'm going to show you the clip, just proved that Biden's FBI illegally, listen to this, Biden's FBI illegally wiretapped Trump's campaign manager, Susie Wiles, during a privileged call with her lawyer. The lawyer never consented. The FBI tried to hide it and did successfully hide it for years by marking the recording as a prohibited file, and it has just been exposed today. More lawfare, more cheating that was used by the Biden administration using the FBI to illegally wiretap Trump's campaign manager. Guys, this is all coming out today. And again, another big Somali fraud scandal by a Somali mother. She's been thrown into jail, handcuffed for running a huge, massive, fraudulent daycare scam, stole almost $1 million from the American taxpayers, and now the House Oversight Committee has launched a probe into the rampant hospice fraud in California. Comer, who is the chairman, demanded all documents and communications related to audits and oversight of the federally funded hospice programs be handed over. Big news today, guys. I'm telling you, this big news of 23 million Democratic mail-in ballot voters vanished from 2020 to 2024. It is mind-blowing what we're going to show you today, but I love it. This is my favorite part about doing this because you are getting to see both sides, everybody. And just want to say, if you're watching, guys, if you're not a part of the family yet, hit that subscribe button. Join our family so we can take care of you every day with the breaking news. We are winning so much right now. And just thank you to everybody that supports our channel and being a member and your giving. We are here to serve you every day with the breaking news. And if you haven't already, hit that thumbs up like button because I'm telling you, it is win after win that you are going to see today coming from the Supreme Court, coming from all the new reports in Congress. We are winning. And also the CNN is having to literally show you that the Democrats have no support whatsoever. Lowest rankings in the past 50 years. Nobody wants them. Nobody wants them in charge. And we're going to show you all that data in a moment. I want to say thank you to those that have given to the family, guys. Show again love to those. Richard, Mr. Tracy J. Norby, Chris Prez, guys, show T Heavy Guy. All those that give. Thomas Brewer in the chat. Robert Cash. Our boy Aaron B424. Sincerely, Stephanie. Show them some love in the chat, guys. Such blessings to our family, to all those that give. We couldn't do it without you. Alan Demeen, thank y'all so much for all your blessings. And again, if you haven't already, guys, hit the thumbs up like button. Thank you so much for your support. And don't forget our partner chapter. Guys, this is like, to me, one of the best partners ever because, again, it's free to you. They have saved hundreds and hundreds of people so much money on this channel because this is what they do. There's 24,000 plans out there for Medicare. And if you're on Medicare, it doesn't matter how much money you make, doesn't matter that it's not open enrollment right now. You can call them up for free and they will help you find the best coverage. And guys, listen to me. There's only a couple days left for you to be able to call them up and them to change your coverage right now. Big time. This is a win for you. Call them up, 667-895-3015. Don't try to do it alone. They make it complicated for a reason, everybody, because they want more of your money. Call Chapter up. They're going to help you keep more of your money, and you'll be blessed. Tell them that Joel sent you from TrueLife News. The number's at the bottom of the screen. I'm telling you guys, big wins today. This is what we've been waiting for. What you're about to see is going to rock your world today. Check this out.
How are voters feeling about Democrats right now?
Yeah, I mean, Democrats in the minds of the American public are lower than the Dead Sea. What are we talking about here? Well, let's take a look. The net approval rating for Democrats in Congress, you said it, Kate Baldwin, the lowest ever. Look at this. Overall,
lowest
they are
ever.
55 points underwater. Their approval rating is south of 20%. It's even worse when you look at independents. Look at this. Negative 61 points. That means that their approval rating is 61 points lower than their disapproval rating. Quinnipiac has been polling this question for the better part of the 21st century. They have never found Democrats, at least those in Congress, in worse shape than they are right now.
You see that? They've never found them in worse shape than they are right Now, don't believe for a second that we are not moving in the right direction, everybody. Don't believe for a second what you're seeing on the mainstream media, because you're about to see the actual real polling right here. And if you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button. In November 10th of 2025, 58% of Republicans identified as MAGA. Today, yesterday, March 23rd, 65% of Republicans identify as MAGA. More people are identifying with what Trump is doing because he is putting America first. And you want to know the biggest news that is rocking the Supreme Court, the Democratic Party? It is literally shaking them to their core right now, everybody. There's nothing. We have literally smacked them from left to right. MIT data shows 23 million Democrat mail-in voters from 2020 vanished by 2024. Guys, we know what happened. You know what happened. There wasn't no vanishing. We all know that we were going to put so much security in 2024, too big to rig. And look what happened. The data is showing us, everybody, what we knew all along. 23 million mail-in voters vanished. Tell me, are we not exposing every single one of these crying, whiny babies that have tried to steal our elections, continue to try to steal our elections, and they're saying the quiet part out loud? I'm going to show you right here. Again, Democrats wanted the Republicans to affirm the results of the 2020 election. And now we know it was a big fake, just psyop. Listen to this, because I'm telling you, it gets even better. They're saying the quiet part out loud and they don't even care. I'm telling you, grab the popcorn, guys. I'm going to go ahead and do it. Let's put some popcorn in the chat because it is real right now of what is going on. Oh, baby. I'm telling you, what you're about to hear next, you are going to be mind blown that this is a sitting senator for the American people.
The negotiation didn't have a path to citizenship. It was entirely on their terms in order to get Ukraine funding, right?
Well, I mean, Chris, that's been a failed play for 20 years. So right. You are right that has been the Democratic strategy for 30 years, maybe. And it has failed to deliver for the people we care about most, the undocumented Americans that are in this country.
Hear that, guys? Who do they care about the most? The undocumented. Listen.
And it has failed to deliver for the people we care about most, the undocumented Americans that are in this country.
The negotiation.
Undocumented Americans. I don't understand how you can be an American and be undocumented, because being undocumented means you're an illegal. And then they are doing what every single turn, guys. We are catching them left and right. You think that we're not about to expose every single one of these lying people about how they literally said that if TSA went to all these airports that they would be killings of Americans? Oh no, that's not what's happening. Even CNN can't believe it.
Well, there may be a celebration here at the airport before it's all said and done, especially for the folks who've been working nonstop, extra shifts. If you look right here, you can see this is the main checkpoint.
Where's the lines?
Almost no lines, no waiting, Sarah. And it's unbelievable at this point. This morning started briskly with a lot of people showing up here at the airport. Lines were long. People were waiting about an hour. But when that rush hour went away pretty quickly this morning, we ended up with this. And there seems to be more lines open than normal right now with the TSA workers here.
Ooh, so you mean Trump was doing something right when he sent in the ICE agents to help out? And guys, I'm telling you, I don't think I've ever shown this many CNN clips in a video, but I just love it that they are being forced to tell you the truth and what's coming out, because Trump is cleaning house, baby. He is cleaning house. Trump is now going to put forth an executive order to verify citizenship if you are banking in the United States. If you're illegal and you're banking in the United States, boom, we're going to catch you. Listen to this, because proof of citizenship, the midterms, winning them, guys, this is the momentum. This is the 3D chess that Trump is playing.
Trump could soon force banks to take part in an immigration crackdown. What I mean by that is sources tell CNN the administration is considering requiring financial institutions to collect and verify their customers' citizenship status, something banks aren't currently required to do. One source says the new policy could come through an executive order. CNN's Matt Egan is following this story for us. So, Matt, what are you learning about how banks are responding to this possibility?
Yeah, well, Omar, this does appear to be part of the Trump administration's aggressive immigration crackdown.
Yes.
Sources tell CNN's Priscilla Alvarez and I that the administration is considering new action that would require banks to check the citizenship status of their customers. Now, this would be something that would actually apply not just on a go-forward basis, but also to
everybody.
Existing customers, which is pretty stunning when you think about just how many customers the banks already have.
Right here, everybody. Immigration action for banks could require banks to verify customers' citizenship, passports, and other documents may be needed and would apply to current and future customers. Guys, I'm telling you, is Trump not going with the 1-2 punch, guys, of just knocking out everything the Democrats have done? Why? Because now that we're getting this news, now that we know things have been rigged across the board, everybody, you're seeing what the Trump administration is putting forth. The new data shows 23 million Democrat mail-in voters from 2020 vanished by 2024. What? What? 23 million? 23 million vanished. No. They never existed in the first place. Guys, I'm telling you, today's bombshell news, what's happening in Congress, what CNN is forced to report, Democrats have the lowest approval rating. MAGA is growing. We're exposing the mail-in voters. The Supreme Court is siding with having one election day. And it gets even better because they're going to use this to go after the Biden administration that Biden used the FBI to illegally wiretap Trump's campaign manager during their 2024 presidential run. You can't make this stuff up. You're about to hear Congress talk about it. This is what I live for, guys. This is the truth that is coming out. And thank you to everybody that shares our videos on X and Facebook.
Thank you very much, Senator Cruz, for convening this hearing. It's an important topic. About a half century ago, President Nixon resigned. He did so under pressure on the basis of public outrage that stemmed from a break-in at DNC headquarters. It was an act of lawfare, you might say, or maybe better said, political espionage. Today, the media and my Democrat colleagues have fallen conspicuously silent when confronted with a scandal that in some ways is of much larger proportions, because it involves the official law enforcement apparatus of the U.S. government in a much more direct way than that one did. President Biden's systematic weaponization of the Department of Justice and federal law enforcement against his political opponents is a development of staggering proportions. And by development, I mean scandal. Just like the Watergate break-in, Arctic frost was ultimately an attempt to sway the results of a presidential election. But this comparison may even be unfair to President Nixon, who never attempted to quash dissent by putting the opposition candidate in prison for trumped-up charges. Now, thankfully, the Biden administration failed in that misguided effort. President Trump was elected by the people to become the 47th president of the United States. But we have to ensure that this kind of lawfare can't occur again. Mr. Chamberlain, I'd like to start with you. Your testimony focuses, among other things, on an FBI recording of a 2023 phone call between Susie Wiles, who was at the time managing President Trump's presidential campaign, and her lawyer. Now, according to the FBI, the lawyer was aware of the recording, but isn't it true that the lawyer denied that he had ever consented to that arrangement?
That's true. That was widely reported.
And
did you hear that, guys? They wiretapped Susie Wiles, Trump's campaign manager, during the presidential run for 2024 without his consent. The FBI did this under the Biden administration. This was before Biden bowed out. I'm telling you, big stuff's happening today, guys. Hit the thumbs up like button if you haven't already. Thank you so much for your support. This is what we want, baby. We are exposing it 100%. Mark Terry, this is the truth.
if in fact the lawyer did not consent, your testimony today is that this would have been and was an illegal wiretap by the FBI in the absence of her lawyer's consent with the FBI.
That's correct.
And the FBI designated this as a prohibited file to prevent anyone from finding out about it.
That seems to be correct, yes.
Okay, so they did something they weren't supposed to do, then they designated it as a prohibited file to cover it up. Now, in general, should the president be able to direct the FBI to spy on the campaign of his political opponent?
Absolutely not.
And isn't listening to a private conversation between a presidential campaign manager and her lawyer in many ways much more serious as an abuse of government power than an attempted wiretap of the DNC headquarters in Watergate?
Correct, because there's two interests being invaded. First, it's just the wiretap generally, but then it's doubly invasive because it's supposed to be a privileged conversation.
A privileged conversation, which regardless of who's involved in it, is supposed to be privileged. And that takes on additional flavor and additional degrees of seriousness when that person happens to be a client represented by a lawyer who happens to be managing the presidential campaign of the then incumbent president's lead and exclusive challenger, effectively.
So you hear it, everybody. They illegally wiretapped President Trump's campaign manager in a privileged conversation, like with their lawyer. Why? Because they were trying to figure out all the details. And now you're seeing it. Like, this is, to me, I can't even fathom how any Democrat would look at this data and literally think that Biden truly won the 2020 election after new data shows what you're seeing on the screen. 23 million Democrat mail-in votes from 2020 vanished by 2024. Guys, everything that you thought, just think about that. Everything that Trump said, everything that you thought is all coming true. It was rigged. It was stolen. Like, you cannot tell me that when you look at this, that there was anything true about the 2020 election. Like, I'm just mind blown right now. And that's why the Supreme Court is moving towards pushing the one election day. One election day. Guys, give it up for our boy Jim Barbato in the chat. Robert Cash, thank you so much, brothers, for your blessings and support. Show JB some love in the chat, as well as Thomas Brewer. I love it. Thank you so much for your support. What a blessing. We appreciate y'all so much, guys. What a blessing. Check this out again. The Supreme Court is poised to restore common sense to 29 states who accept mail-in ballots days after the election, after Election Day. Because remember, it's Election Day, not election week, not election month, not whenever you get to it, not whenever you can get more votes on your side. It's Election Day. And isn't it always so funny that you're going to hear later on about how they always say, it's so weird that Trump is, usually the Republicans are winning on Election Day, and then somehow over the next couple of weeks, then you start getting more votes for the Democratic side, and then the Democrats end up winning. Well, why? Because it's all rigged. And again, we're bringing you this breaking news, guys. Such massive news that you get to see We're hitting this before mainstream media, baby. And guys, give it up for Patrick Trebet, OG of the family. Thank you so much, brother, with my favorite GIF. Let's go. Thank you so much, Patrick, for your support of our channel, guys. What a blessing. Check this out.
John Solomon joins us from having been at very important meetings this morning. John, thank you for taking time away. And John, as we're going through everything of this war and we're bouncing, we're negotiating, we're not negotiating. They don't know who's negotiating. We're negotiating. We're taking off we're not going to be bombing them at 5 o'clock today. We're not going to bomb them at the start of the John Solomon show. So John will be doing interesting news instead of covering bombing runs.
That's right.
No, but this thing, but once again, get this story up, Jennifer. Intel board to probe if spy agencies withheld China election secrets over politics. Dude, this to me is the single most important story we've got for us as a country. Because if we don't get this right, this gets back to the stealing of the 2020 election. I just had a guy, Tyler O'Neill from Daily Signal, talking about the CIA under Biden is trying to make traditional moms, the trad mom movement, domestic terrorist extremists.
Sure.
But it all goes back to here. And this, as you can tell, the entire apparatus has kind of come together and said, nah, we don't want to talk about that. Let's talk about the future. Politics is about the future. We don't want to talk about the past. You continue your hammers. Tell us the scale of this problem, sir, as you outline in this article.
Well, it is as rooted in a corruption of the intelligence community as anything we've seen. Russia collusion. That mom's intelligence report, which we broke 3 weeks ago when Director Ratcliffe retracted it because it was so offensive and so laughable. But what has happened is that the left has infiltrated an intelligence community that traditionally has been centrist, even a little conservative in its views over the history of this country, infected it with leftist ideology, and then tried to impose that politics over an intelligence officer's obligation to put their country first. And so in Great Britain, when they learned China was hacked, or when China had hacked their voter registration database, the intelligence community there put their country first. They made it public. They corrected it. There were great recriminations. There was a national crisis. In this country, leftists in the intelligence community buried that notion. We know that because the ombudsman for the intelligence community said he found the evidence, he found the receipts, he found the goods that said that the intelligence community hated Donald Trump. They called him a vulgarian, and they were intent on not letting him, the Congress, or the American public know that China had hacked our databases, our voter registration data, specifically because they didn't want to help his China policy. They disagreed with it. They had a leftist view on China, and they allowed that political view, their ideology, to overcome their obligation to country. That's why this is so, you can apply it to lots of different things.
This is why it's so important, everybody. And I just got some more breaking news to show you in a moment. This is why oh my goodness. This is, and I'm showing this a lot, guys, but you just got to realize that this is the smoking gun. This is the very dang thing that we all knew was happening. We knew was fake. We knew 23 million Democrat mail-in voters from 2020 vanished by 2024. What happened, everybody? What happened? This is why, again, you cannot trust these states with no voter ID. You have to have proof of citizenship. When you don't have any of that, guess what? That's where they cheat. This is like, my goodness, you can't even make up what you are seeing on this from the MIT Election Data and Science Lab. Like, you can't make this stuff up, how bad it is. And guess what? We got even more news for you. Minnesota Representative Ilhan Omar has now been caught funneling millions of her campaign funds into her husband's business ventures. Lawsuits show nearly $2 million disappeared. Why is everything disappearing? Why do the votes disappear? Why is the money disappearing? My goodness, guys. Look, I'm not making this stuff up. You can't make up how much stuff disappears around the dang Democrats 3 years ago, $750 million was allocated for 1,200 tiny homes in California. Still no homes. Money's gone. Every single time, guys, where is the money going? Accusations of fraud against a business partly owned by Representative Omar's husband. Her husband is Tim Maina, and his consulting firm legally got about $3 million from her 2020 campaign. Now he's a business partner in a few business ventures that are involved in lawsuits claiming his companies have made money disappear. So they are being sued right now. Elon Omar is in the hot seat, guys. Like every turn that we are showing you today, the Supreme Court, without a shadow of a doubt, is getting all this data. This is what they're basing their decision on. 23 million mail-in voters from 2020 vanished by 2024. Did you know that out of these 19 states, 29 states who accept mail-in ballot days after election, 14 states out of this 29 don't even require a postmark date. Don't even require a postmark date. Are you even kidding me? That's why we're winning. And everywhere they turn, with Trump, Marco Rubio, with JD Vance, and this is all they look. I found this image, and this makes me super happy. Elon Musk comes out and says, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to support the TSA. I'll pay their $679 million salaries for all of them, all 63,000 of them every month till Congress can get it fixed." And all Chuck Schumer is a whiny baby. They have the lowest approval rating in the history of the party right now. This is what you get when you continue to gaslight and lie to the American people. If y'all appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind, hit the thumbs up like button. Thank you so much to Sincerely Stephanie for your support. Jim Barbado, Raymond Blanc, DeBlanc, let's go. Thank you so much for your support. Martin Gonzalez, Flip and the Blue Mule, thank you so much for your faithful support. Show them some love in the chat, everybody. All the receipts, guys, we are bringing them today.
But that's what happened in Russia collusion. It's what happened in Ukraine impeachment. It's what now has happened on election integrity. And until it is rooted out, until there's a deterrent, until this administration notifies the states that are affected, which it hasn't yet, it is not a corrected problem. And I think getting the President's Intelligence Advisory Board, chaired by Devin Nunes, a guy who helped unravel Russia collusion, is a big step forward. That is big impact from the stuff that we've been talking about in your show, Steve. Someone has listened. They're getting deeply engaged in it now, and they're going to do something about it. That's a good first step. And I think just like John Ratcliffe retracted 19 ideologically silly intelligence reports, you could see the CIA and the DNI begin doing some stuff in the next couple of weeks in response to the PAB, in response to the Intelligence Advisory Board, to get right with this, to get our country right. Otherwise, 26 election is just as much a risk as 2020 was.
Right there, everybody.
Why are we not informing the SAVE Act and the Save America Act? We streamed the debates all over the weekend. Of course, President Trump blew up Thune last night, said, look, it's got to stop being kabuki theater. You got to get like the Mike Lee intent. There's no urgency. You can tell this. There's a lot of them like 11-year-old kids kind of moping around. They're losing the weekend.
That's right.
Why are we not infusing that debate and putting the Democrats on notice about the Biden regime with this information?
It is shocking
that
to
the
me.
intelligence agencies... Thank you. I'm sitting there going, you could make this the most exciting, mesmerizing edge of the seat if you just infuse it with what the facts are, and not, there's still these theoretical discussions about the Republic and the Constitution, which is important. But after you've heard that a couple of times, it kind of loses its impact, sir.
That's right. Yeah, listen.
Guys, again, we're going to show you this in just a moment. Kash Patel's phone records. Remember, he's our director of the FBI. And this is even worse. Bank information was spied on by the Biden administration and was kept hidden. Again, this just broke, guys. Kash Patel's phone records, and bank information was investigated by the Biden administration and swept under the rug and hidden. Imagine if somebody can see your text, your calls, where you spend your money at. You have no idea. And they did it for political lawfare. That's messed up. And you're about to hear more of it after this, guys. I'm telling you, holy smokes, today's a big day.
What Carolyn Levitt should do is to have a briefing in the White House press room. Walk the press through the evidence. Once they see the evidence, it's kind of hard to ignore. It's pretty clear evidence. The DNI, Tulsi Gabbard and John Ratcliffe should call the senators one by one and say, here's what we found in your state. Oh, by the way, throw the Justice Department in because Harmeet Dillon is doing some great work. Harmeet Dillon is going through these voter rolls. So you could have a briefing, senator by senator, saying, sir, in your state, China accessed your voter data registration. In your state, thus far, we've found X number of non-citizens who made it through your state's very good system, which means we still need voter ID to prevent this. That's the sort of hand-to-hand combat that would win the SAVE Act, at least a version of the SAVE Act. That's the sort of command of the podium that's been lacking on this issue. It is mystifying to me that something the president cares so much about, he himself has truthed out about it, but the team around him have not driven the narrative in a way that could potentially impact a law that he says is important to him. His team is not carrying the water that needs to be carried here. It's just that simple.
This is the whole fight today at the Supreme Court on mail-in ballots. This is the whole fight in Dallas with in Georgia with the great patriots. They're staying in the breach. They're trying to get the evidence back. This is Maricopa County. This is the other three that you say are coming. This fight's all of one piece, and it's got to be addressed strategically like the war it is. John Solomon,
I'm telling you, everybody, this is, again, the number one piece of data that we have ever showed you that is the foundational basis for why we need proof of citizenship and we need photo ID. This is what everybody's talking about. Oh my goodness, guys. 23 million Democrat mail-in voters from 2020 vanished by 2024 from the MIT Election Data and Science Lab. Holy smokes. And again, I told you I was going to show you this. So they're just finding out that they looked into Kash Patel's bank information and his phone records without him knowing. I'm telling you, the lawfare is being exposed. I'm ready to see some dang people in handcuffs. Let me know your thoughts in the comments because this is such a huge day of breaking news.
Thank you. Let's start with the foundation. Ms. Cleveland, Jack Smith issued nearly 200 subpoenas. Is that correct?
Yes.
Those subpoenas targeted over 400 Republican individuals and organizations, correct?
Correct.
Many of whom had no connection to those who entered the Capitol on January 6th, correct?
Absolutely.
And in fact, some of those organizations didn't even exist on January 6th. Is that correct?
It is.
So we're not talking about a narrow investigation. We're talking about a sweeping operation targeting virtually the entirety of the other side politically.
It was a fishing expedition.
So let's turn to the Constitution. Subpoenaing the toll records of members of Congress, does that raise serious constitutional concerns?
Absolutely. And in fact, we have the PIN who notified the special counsel's office of those concerns. And Jack Smith had apparently said that he was going to consult with the Solicitor General, according to the release of the information from Senator Grassley this morning. Yet when he was deposed by the House and was specifically asked if he spoke with the Solicitor General, he said, on this discrete issue, no.
Among other issues, it raises significant issues with the speech and debate clause, correct?
Absolutely.
So much so that, as you noted, when Jack Smith subpoenaed AT&T to get my toll records, AT&T refused to comply with the subpoena because they concluded that it violated the speech and debate clause. Is that correct?
Absolutely correct, and they backed down.
Jack Smith did not try to enforce that subpoena, did he?
He did not.
He did not go to court and litigate the matter, did he?
He did not.
Does that suggest, as it does to me, that he knew damn well what he was doing was illegal and would not be upheld in court?
It does suggest that.
When the federal government subpoenas...
And I have to say, after you hear all this, everybody, where is the arrest? This is everything that you're seeing, 100% lawfare. Every bit of it. And if you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support.
Donor lists, internal communications, organization records. Does that implicate the First Amendment and also freedom of association in particular?
It does, and the Supreme Court made that clear in the NAACP case.
Mr. Chamberlain, aside from the legal violations, what specific crimes, if any, were actually uncovered as a result of the Arctic frost investigation?
I'm not aware of any crimes that were uncovered.
Would the senators, donors, organizations, and individuals who were surveilled and subpoenaed have ever learned about the Arctic frost investigation had Trump not won in 2024?
Probably not, mainly because of these non-disclosure orders, but also, I mean, the fact that a lot of these records we're now just learning about them because they were in these prohibited access files only available to the FBI director. So if the FBI director was a Democrat, there's no reason to think we'd know about them.
How would you compare the scope of the violations in Arctic frost to Watergate?
I think, if anything, it might even be greater. I mean, the scope of this in terms of the sheer number of people and organizations affected. And as I discussed, I mean, this brazen violation of attorney-client privilege, wiretapping a phone call between Susie Wiles and her lawyer, these are egregious offenses. And you know, if Watergate was just about a single break-in, I mean, this is effectively, compound that by 200.
All right, Mr. O'Leary, I appreciate your service. One of the things you testified is you said, quote, the effectiveness and legitimacy of the FBI depend on its independence from political influence. I very much agree with that, and I will say as an alumnus of the Department of Justice, I am deeply saddened, and frankly, I'm angry that under President Biden, the Department of Justice and the FBI were weaponized and its integrity badly compromised. You are right, that's how the FBI is supposed to behave, and that's how the Department of Justice is supposed to behave. So Jack Smith was not investigating a crime based on evidence. He issued subpoenas to get the toll records of the following senators: Mike Lee, seated to my right; Josh Hawley; Lindsey Graham; John Kennedy, seated to my right; Marsha Blackburn; Ron Johnson; Rick Scott; Bill Hagerty; Dan Sullivan; Tommy Tuberville; Cynthia Lummis, and myself. That's over 20% of the Republicans in the United States Senate. Mr. O'Leary, is it consistent with the obligations of the Department of Justice and the FBI to issue subpoenas with no factual basis and no legal basis?
Senator, it is not, and in my experience, FBI agents would never approach a matter without the proper justification and articulable facts to open their investigation.
Okay, good. So you said they would never do that. Judge Boasberg signed an order, I'm holding the order right here, in which he concludes, and I'm going to read, the court finds reasonable grounds to believe that such disclosure, in other words, notifying the senators on that list, will result in destruction of or tampering with evidence, intimidation of potential witnesses, and serious jeopardy of the investigation. Are you aware of any factual basis whatsoever that a dozen senators will destroy evidence?
I am not, but I will tell you that non-disclosure orders are a routine part of investigations.
Based on facts. Give me any hypothetical fact. By the way, do you know any facts that I will destroy evidence? Let's take it me personally.
I cannot,
Because Jack Smith went into court and said, I will destroy evidence if I know about the subpoena. And this clown signed the order one after the other after the other. Are you aware of any basis? Look, I'm a member of the bar. I take my obligations seriously. The FBI signed off on that. Mike Lee concluded he would destroy evidence. John Kennedy, well, Louisiana, maybe. I will say, I'll give a special dispensation for the great state of Louisiana. But there is no basis. By the way, is it consistent with DOJ's obligation to also ask a judge to violate the law and not inform the judge of it?
No, it would not be.
Well, 2 U.S.C. Section 6628 explicitly bars non-disclosure orders applying to the Senate. And yet, in the lawless Department of Justice, I assume they didn't tell Judge Boasberg, hey, we're asking you to violate the law. Would you sign this? Do you assume that as well?
You would have to ask the DOJ that, but you make a good point, Senator.
What you're seeing here, everybody, is that, again, time and time again, we are digging in, and I'm showing you a lot of places that I normally don't show you because, again, I don't ever want anybody to think that I'm like, oh, I'm going to be just from one news source. No. Across the board, baby. Congress launches investigation into California hospice fraud, citing millions in taxpayer losses. CBS is now reporting it. They're starting to get on board. They're starting to show that you can't outrun what's coming. There's too much evidence. This is the biggest win for election integrity of why we need proof of citizenship and why we need voter ID that we have showed you on this channel since I have been doing videos. Now, and again, how long have I been doing it? I've been going over 440 days straight that I have posted a video every day on this channel to show you what's going on. 23 million Democrat mail-in voters from 2020 vanished by 2024. Where did they go? I'm telling you, they never existed. They never existed. So now that we go into the next steps of what I want you to see of how crazy they're willing to talk in order to try to get their point across, and nobody cares anymore. I showed you earlier, and I'm going to show you again in a moment, that Democrats have the lowest approval rating in the history of polling because of the statement that you're about to hear. Nobody believes them.
The last thing that the American people need are for untrained ICE agents to be deployed at airports all across the country, potentially to brutalize or in some instances kill them.
Brutalize or kill them? Are you kidding me? That's literally what the the House Minority Leader just said about ICE going to help out TSA at the airports.
Yeah, that's about as ridiculous as you would expect from a Democrat on this. Senator Tommy Tuberville of Alabama joins us now. So Hakeem says that ICE agents are there to kill as many Americans as they can find.
And this guy's an elected official. Amazing how he got elected. And now he's in a leadership role. That tells you why we need to pass this Save America Act immediately to get these idiots out of Congress. Because if we don't pass this, we'll never have another secure election in this country because we'll never have any kind of majority again. It's just amazing to me how we're letting this opportunity pass us by. But we got about 4 or 5 Republicans that just refuse to bust the filibuster.
And to those Republicans, why are they doing this as far as the SAVE Act is concerned? What is their end game? What's their goal? And what are you saying to them?
Well, first of all, several of them, I would imagine that a lot of it has to do with Trump derangement syndrome. They just don't like him at the end of the day. And, you are who you are. But as I tell people, I represent the people of Alabama. I don't represent myself. And the other one is I keep hearing about the tradition of the Senate, that we're different from the House. Yeah, we're different. We don't get anything done. We've got one thing done since in the last year and 3 or 4 months with President Trump. And that was the one big beautiful bill that we had to go 18 straight hours just to get 51 votes. And we finally got a senator at 4 a.m. in the morning to vote for it. It was almost a disaster. We came really close not to getting anything done the entire time President Trump's been in. So, we can sit around here all day long and talk about what's going to happen, but we might as well go home, because with 60 votes, these Democrats are not going to vote for anything for the American people. They're going to vote for themselves, and their power is all they want.
I want to show you this, everybody, because again, the results speak for themselves. The data is the facts, is what you should believe in, okay? Top 15 cities, biggest rent cuts since 2022. Deportations work. Look at how many people, the drop in percentage with Austin, Texas being the highest, 22%. Rents are down 22%. Like, I don't know about y'all, but paying $1,600 for rent versus $1,272, that's a lot of money every single month. Over the course of a year, you're talking about thousands of dollars. Fort Myers, 19%. Colorado, almost 16%. Northport, Florida, deportations work. When you see this, let me see if I can zoom in just a little bit for you. Deportations work, all right? When you see this, look at that. Top states. This shows you, again, top states, how much cheaper it is in America, affordability, when you cut out illegals that aren't supposed to be here. Remember, we're now like almost over 3 million illegals that have been deported since Trump's been president. Look how much they've dropped. Imagine when you deport another 3 million. We're going to get back to normal soon, everybody. And if you appreciate these facts, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, this is why Trump's doing what he's doing. You can go check this out from apartmentlist.com. Look at this. Amazing, amazing wins. Okay.
Do you think Democrats immediately break the filibuster as soon as they get back power if they get all three in the next election?
Oh, 100%. I mean, they begged to get it last time. Of course, had a couple of Democrats that just had enough sense not to do it at that time because they knew how dangerous they were. But, if we don't do it, it'll, the American people they're the ones that's going to suffer. It's not going to be politicians. They're going to suffer. And it's just unfortunate. We could get so much done in the next 2.5 years if we just took 51 votes. But again, if we voted today to bust the filibuster and only to have 51 people to vote for it, we couldn't get it because we got that 4 or 5 Republicans that say, hey, we believe in tradition. The tradition I believe in is the American people and the people of Alabama. That's what I believe in.
Yeah, and again, they're wholly ignoring the fact that most Americans actually want this bill to pass, which should be more important to them than their filibuster. Do you think this is dead? Is it time we just stop talking about it?
Well, we can keep talking about it. We can keep putting pressure on the Democrats and the 4 or 5 people that on our side. But there's nothing else we can do. I mean, it's like the funding the DHS. It's not going to happen. I mean, they're not ever going to agree to that unless we start giving them the opportunity to slip in and say, okay, we'll do these two and we'll do everything but the DHS. We don't need to do that. Don't let them hold us hostage. Yep. If they don't do it, let's bust a filibuster and vote 51 votes and go on with it. I mean, we're being controlled by the Democrats and Chuck Schumer, and they hate this country.
That's so true.
Guys, again, you only know because the president is President Donald Trump. You only know this because Kamala Harris did not win the 2024 election. Just imagine what our world looks like. Oh my goodness, I don't even want to imagine. It's that bad. I just think about the Ukraine-Russia war. When's the last time you heard about the Ukraine-Russia war? When's the last time they asked for money? I'm telling you, everybody, like, it's all a narrative. I thought the Democrats loved Ukraine. Stand with Ukraine, all their flags, all those things. I thought that nothing was more important than helping out the Ukrainian people. But this new data showing 23 million Democrat mail-in voters from 2020 vanished by 2024, what you're about to hear our boy Kennedy say, this is why we have to do this. I'm telling you guys, we need leadership change in Congress.
Who's with us now as we've worked out our technical difficulties. So, Senator, Democrats say we'll fund it. We'll fund DHS. That means FEMA. We'll fund airport security, but we're not going to fund ICE. And to that, you say, okay?
Well, I thought what Senator Cruz and I proposed would work. It's not going to work. Let me explain why. What we have right now, Will, is very frustrating. It's just basically murk, mess, and mayhem. I've been up here 10 years, and this is one of the worst I've seen. It's kind of like if the Hindenburg crashed into the Titanic. All we're doing is speechifying, get nothing done. American people are tired of listening to it. I'm tired of listening to it. I think it's starting to lower my IQ. So Senator Cruz and I came up with a plan. We said, look, it's a two-step process. The Democrats have offered to open up everything but ICE. Ted and I said, okay, let's accept their offer. And then at the same time, we would offer a bill through reconciliation where we don't need any Democratic votes to do whatever we wanted to do with ICE. And that way we're out of the shutdown and DHS is back open. We submitted that, Senator Thune submitted that to President Trump, as is his right. He said no deals with the Democrats. So we're back to square one, but I've got a plan B. We can shut down all negotiations with our Democratic colleagues and just do the entire thing through reconciliation. Do ICE, do FEMA, do TSA, get them back open, do the Coast Guard, do Secret Service. We don't need a single Democratic vote. That's how we pass the one big, beautiful bill. Now, it will take long. It will have to probably go through the House, and we have to go through the procedure in the Senate. It'll take 10 days or so, but it'll get us back open, and it will satisfy the president's requirement that we not make any kind of deal with the Democrats.
And is that Plan A, Senator, now? Is that Plan A?
I don't know. We're on so many plans. I think that's Plan Squillion. Will Senator... Look, Senator Thune is the majority leader, as all majority leaders, has total control of the floor. He decides what can be voted on. And I didn't see any reason going forward with Ted and I's plan if the president's going to veto it. It would have worked. We could have had TSA paid by the end of the week. But the president said no deals, so my plan B, or Plan Squillion, would be no deals with the Democrats. It'll take a little longer, but we won't need any Democratic votes.
And go straight to reconciliation. Okay,
just
Sarah,
go straight to reconciliation.
Yeah, we'll be watching for that reconciliation bill. Sounds like the only way right now to keep 2-hour lines away from Atlanta, keep everyone safe in LaGuardia.
Yeah, I mean, government is supposed to bring order, not disorder.
Yeah.
And right now what we have is disorder. It's not acceptable. As far as I'm concerned, if the TSA folks are not being paid, senators shouldn't be paid. I tried to bring a bill yesterday on the floor and got objected to by the Democrats, but we'll try again.
You've long said if the government shut down, then the people making the laws shouldn't get their paycheck either. It's good to see you continue it.
We showed you yesterday, everybody. Senator Kennedy literally was giving a resolution. A Democrat walked in, said, I blocked this resolution. I'm the Senate leader of this committee, and I block it, and then walks out. And Senator Kennedy was like, what? Can you even do that? Is that even possible? Like, can we call him up? Because what the heck is going on? I'm telling you, everything in Washington is crumbling. Another day, another welfare fraud bombshell. A Somali mother of 7 just got thrown in jail for running a massive fraudulent daycare scam that stole $800,000 straight from American taxpayers. Now she's been arrested, thrown in jail. This is where we're at right now. We are catching them left and right. Even I told you, CBS News, Congress launches investigation into California hospice fraud, citing millions in taxpayer losses. Finally. If you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, and I'm telling you, what you're about to see next, this is the number one reason we have to hold strong. Because a lot of things are changing across America because Democrats are getting so desperate. They're raising taxes in all these blue states because Trump cut off USAID. Trump cut off a lot of wasteful spending. And now there is a mass exodus from these blue states of all these millionaires and billionaires to red states. Listen to this.
Doubling down on their tax the rich dreams, and now new numbers show wealthy Americans are running for these low tax hills. Wow, can you imagine that? IRS data revealing red and purple states are reaping the benefits, racking up tens of billions of dollars in income. Florida leading the pack, gaining more than $20 billion in just 1 year. That's not monopoly money, folks. That's real. And as blue states continue to push tax hikes, the losses are piling.
And guys, this is per year that these states are losing because of blue policies, Democratic policies of, and guys, just please think about this. If it was easy to make money, then everybody would do it. Everybody be a millionaire. It is extremely hard to make a lot of money. And it is extremely difficult. There are people that you have no idea that sacrifice or work 70, 80 hours a week to make their living that they do. They put in the time. Instead of watching TV, they're learning or reading, and they make a lot of money. Now, we've shown you on this channel, over 80% of all millionaires in the United States are self-made millionaires. Over 80%. So the majority of them pulled themselves up by their bootstraps and made their money. Blue states think that they're entitled to, 60 cents on the dollar of all that extra money that they make? No. We've seen so much fraud go to what? Illegals. You literally heard a senator on this channel earlier that said the most important people are undocumented illegals. That's literally what the Democrats said. So when you see them lose money, because why? When you look at do you really want to give more money to the government? Do you really want them to have more of your hard-earned money? And I don't care how much money you make. 40% of the United States Americans don't even pay taxes. So 40%, you don't really have nothing to say because you don't even pay taxes. But the 60% that is the middle class and up that do pay taxes, they don't want to keep paying more taxes because they keep seeing fraud. You got Congress who can't even fund TSA agents to pay them to keep our airports safe because of politics. And every single time you see these numbers, guys, this is the real numbers. Look at it right here. I'm going to pull back to Florida. To the net gains. Gained the most money. Florida, almost 21 billion. $5.5 billion to Texas. $4 billion to South Carolina. Almost $4 billion to North Carolina. Almost $3 billion to Arizona. And almost $3 billion to Tennessee. And then you look at the blue states. California, New York, Illinois, Maine, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, all losing billions of dollars a year in tax money because why? Massachusetts, guess what? 2 years ago, they put a millionaire's tax that they wanted to tax all the millionaires a certain percentage. Well, guess what? All the millionaires left. That's where this negative $4 billion is coming from. You keep thinking that you're going to keep stealing more money and not be held accountable for it. You keep thinking that people don't see this type of news right here. 3 years ago, $750 million was allocated for 1,200 tiny homes in California. Still no homes. Money's all gone. You keep seeing things like this right here. Ilhan Omar now has a lawsuit against her, and her representative Ilhan Omar allegedly caught funneling millions of her campaign funds into her husband's business ventures. Millions of dollars. You see news like this. Another one. A Somali mother of 7 thrown into jail now for a fraudulent daycare scam, $800,000, and don't think people are people are fed up with this stuff. And I know you are too. That's why, again, I'm so adamant about showing you these details, because it matters. It's your money. You got to put somebody in the White House that says, hey, why don't you keep more of your money? Why don't you keep more of your money instead of giving it more to me, and then I get to do whatever I want with it, and I don't have to answer to anybody? Because that's exactly what's happened in our country with our current Congress. If you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, and if you're watching and you're not part of the family yet, please consider joining our family, hitting that subscribe button. And that's why, again, when we partnered with this company chapter, who, again, this right here is a free service to you, everybody. It's free. They compare every single Medicare plan. We show you the receipts. Over 24,000 Medicare plans nationwide. And I'm going to refresh it again so you can see. This ain't no screenshot. There are over 24,000 Medicare plans available nationwide. Why is there so many? Because it's complicated. They want it to be complicated. That means they can take more of your money. Because when it's so complicated, you don't really know what's going on. That's why we partnered with this company chapter, and that's why hundreds and hundreds of people on this channel have saved thousands and thousands of dollars for free. Didn't cost them anything. We've had people, multiple people save over $5,000 a year in healthcare cost. We're here to serve you. I'm here to make sure that you have every help that you can, especially our seniors, to keep more of your hard-earned money. You hear me, guys. I partnered with Chapter, and you don't hear me talking like a normal sponsor who just is reading off a little script here. No, this is real people. This is real people's money. And that's why I say you call them up. The number's at the bottom of the screen as well as in the description, 667-895-3015. You tell them that Joel sent you from TrueLife News. I want you to keep more of your hard-earned money. I want you to be blessed. I want you to win. Because when I see this stuff happening, I want you to keep more of the money you worked for. And you know they made the system complicated for a reason. But that's where Chapter helps out for free. Again, 667-895-3015. I promise you'll be blessed. And I just got to show you this image again. Crying Chuck Schumer. Elon comes out. Guys, they're going to figure something out. I'm telling you this. And all they can do is whine about it. Just want to say to those that give on this channel, thank you so much for your support. We are growing in our giving. We're growing in our family. Thank you so much for sharing our videos on X, on Facebook. We couldn't do it without you. And remember, on the 22nd of every single month, we're donating live on stream to a local charity, live on stream. So I want to make sure that you're taken care of. I want to make sure that y'all show some love to those that help and support us in our giving. Show some love to Robert Cash for the super chat. Let's go, baby. Show sincerely Stephanie some love in the chat. Thomas Brewer, thank you so much, brother. OG of the fam. Thank you so much to our boy JB, Jim Barbato, with his super chats. Let's go, brother. Show Jim Barbato some love in the chat. Show Patrick Trebet some love in the chat, everybody. Thank you so much, brother, for your support. Flip and the Blue Mule. Martin Gonzalez. Raymond LeBlanc. Thank you so much for your support. And guys, to those that give all the time, Chris Prez, PDX67. Thank you so much to Alice Lewis, our boy Mr. Tracy J. Norby. Thank you so much to T Heavy Guy, Big Dog DFW. Thank you to all those that support our family and your giving. We are so thankful to everybody that helps us grow. We're here to serve you. We love you, appreciate you, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.